Yo, good evening, people. How we doing? Yeah, that right there, you liking that? Leonor in the building. Look, check it out. So, this I made for Indie Soul, okay? I made this for Indie Soul, and he wanted some background music for when he puts his videos on YouTube, okay? So, I'm working, I'm coming around. Hey, look, some of y'all known for a long time, alright? If y'all need something, come holler at me. It's not a problem, alright? Yeah. You know, when I'm making beats, I do what I want to do. I do what I feel, right? I'm trying to like master my craft. I'm trying to reach for a certain sound, right? But if you come to me and say, hey, I need something and I need it like this, that's what you're gonna get. And I'll work with you until it's right. That's what we do. Okay, you tell me you want something, I'm gonna make it, and I might be halfway, or I might get an idea, but like, what you think about this? Put your input into it. Nah, I don't like how that sound. Maybe something a little more, and I'll go back, and we'll get it right. And once you got something you content with, we off to the races. That's it. Okay, I don't know it all. Okay, I don't know you. So you gotta tell me. And when you do that, you see what I'm capable of doing. Let that bounce. Come on, man. Come on. So I need a pizza and I need it the right way. Yo. Hey, just give me a couple of slices. I know it's bad, so I'm a pescatarian, but I'll take a couple of slices. Go on and give me a couple. It ain't gonna hurt. We just call it like a cheat day or something, We'll just call it a cheat day. He even said, I like this. Now I need it 24 minutes long. I said, what? I said, alright, I got you. He has a beat from me that is 24 minutes long. But this is the short version, right? In case he wants to use it for a stream. It's about as long as a song, alright? That's it. All you gotta do is talk to me. That's it. Hiding in the back, shy and stuff, that ain't gonna get you nowhere. Come talk to me. As one of my friends has told me several years ago, you are the most zen person I know. I'm chill. Alright? I get it. Sometimes I'm here, my energy, you're just like, man, you seem kind of low-key aggressive. That's the Scorpio, man. It's a sign of extremes, okay? We got a lot of love here, okay? And if you're not bringing love, I don't want to deal with you. Go on somewhere. Go on somewhere else with that, alright? We're about learning our lessons. Cultivating the blessings, okay? If you ain't learning, you ain't growing. If you ain't growing, you ain't knowing. And I don't want to know you. These are facts, okay? Appreciate y'all stopping by. Let me see if we can get a shout out for Leonor. Is it not Essa or Issa? I'm sorry if I butchered your name there. But how you doing this evening? We got Quill in the building. Uh-oh. Hold on a second. Wait, you won't let me do it from here? Okay, hold on. It won't let me in Restream, so I can do the shouts. Yo, Quill, how's it going, man? How have you been? What's going on? And let's get one for you as well, alright? Hey. Things are good. This year is great. I'm gonna keep saying it. Destiny or fate. Year the 8. Let's go. Alright? Stay kind, stay humble. That's the message for this year. Because as you can see, when you're not kind or humble, that karma is swift now, right? You see it coming swiftly now. Welcome to the Sun 2.0. They were all out there like, ooh, an eclipse. And the sun was like, just like woke up from his slumber. It's not playing with y'all. It's not playing with anybody. Alright? So when you start seeing some stuff that shock you, just understand the things that you do, the thoughts that you hold in that dark space we call the mind, right? Because nobody can see the mind. You can see the brain, but you can't see the mind. And the things that you do in that dark space will eventually show in the light through your actions. That's the origin of what you do in the dark will come to the light. That's a little psychology for you. Alright? Let's keep it moving. We did it. We did it. Okay, we were working on the beat yesterday, and I tried to force myself to do it, and we got a little progress. I wasn't all there, man. My brain. Hey, look. Just as sure as I just gave you that message, I get tons of messages. Okay. Sound is life for me. Okay, I got this obsession. So it makes me good at what I do. And so we actually got this finished. I'm gonna play this for you. The stuff you hearing now, I did create this stuff. And I'm sure YouTube is about to scream and go crazy because they're hearing this right now. So if you can't find this on the stream, on YouTube after it's over, just know YouTube came up to me and said, hey, look, we told you about this before. We gave you a 90-day warning. We told you about this before. I ain't gonna do it. I don't want any problems with YouTube, okay? I actually like YouTube, okay? I've had my YouTube subscription over a decade now, okay? If you go to my main YouTube page, not the Sigma the Majestic page, because that's where I do my music and stuff, but if you go to my main page, all I got are like documentaries, lectures, okay? And when I was doing my walks, 5-mile walks a day, fairly big guy, and I was a lot bigger, okay? When I was going down my health journey, when I was doing that stuff, that's all that kept me going, right? So, hey, I might have something to say. But let's check this out and see what we got now that it's all completed. Okay, so we took, and what we're doing right now is a community project. Hold on, let's see. Slightly different, but I think it's the same sample. Okay, I send you the song I did over this beat beat isn't exact like this, but I think it was a. Oh, go ahead, man. So I did this. It's by LTD. It's called Love Ballad. That sample you're talking about, and I had a friend I've known for a long time. Um, Him and a couple of others, Avion, Sinister. They're the reasons I even got affiliated with Legion of Tunes. Um, we used to all be on a site called rockbattle.com. It may or may not still be up, but it was hosted by DJ Rockwilder. I don't know if you guys know DJ Rockwilder. He did a lot of stuff for like Mary J and all that. He's really famous. All right. Made a lot of beats. So he hosted it, and he had I don't know if it was a family member or something, but there was two guys, and they put up this site. Not only could you sell your beats on there, but you could beat battle against other producers. Okay, so we were going at it, just producers just queuing up for beat battles, and hey, if this beat won, and like people were running to your page to go see what else you got and stuff like that. And I was still young, right? I'm still learning, and I happened to create a beat one day that grabbed the attention of a group, and that's how I got into Legion of Tunes. And from there, it's just been up. I've been learning a lot. They've been helping me out, stuff like that. And to this day, it's been 10 years now. To this day, or been longer. I think I got with them 2010. Sometime in 2010. So we're on 14 years now. All right, good. Um, a lot of things that kind of happened. Shady deals and stuff. Like we even ran into Slip Inside. They were looking at us, and they wanted our music, but they didn't want to pay us for it. It was like, what? But basically the way they were seeing it was because, we weren't known or whatever. It's like, well, we'll take your music, we'll do stuff with it, and then like promo kind of, nah, you ain't gonna pay us. We ain't trying to hear it, okay? Um, so it's been good since then, because we had about 150 producers in that group. We were the number two group on that site, and we used to go back and forth with a lot of people. Okay, um so yeah, it's good times. But when I created that, I was told that was the best version that they've heard since Jay Dilla. Okay, which is kind of saying something, and I always try not to let my head get too big and explode, but it's like, damn, really? Really? Like, now I'm all cheesing and stuff. Like, really? Like, whew, okay. Like, I knew it sounded good, but I didn't, I wasn't expecting anything like that. So you'll have to send it email or Discord. It's not released. All right, I got you. Hold on. You can send it there. I'll be happy to play it. And if you guys have like beats you're working on and you want like maybe some feedback, either on the composition or the mixing or something like that, feel free. Okay, I know you guys go into a lot of channels and people are all just like, it's all about me. Never, never. Okay, and people that have been following me for a while, they know I'm not like that. Right? As a matter of fact, I don't stream on Twitch anymore. However, this page they were supposed to have deleted is still up. All right, it's still up. But see stuff like this, people come in, they send stuff, they say, "Hey, will you listen to my music? Will you tell me what you think?" Yes, The answer is always yes. If I'm in the middle of something, hey, let me finish, but we'll get to it. Promise, okay? We're here to learn and grow. And I'm not just saying that I'm gonna teach you something. You teach me too. Okay? I'm not the master of this. Could you guys really hear that? Hold on. Why does it sound so low? Why does it sound so low? Oh, okay. Is your guitar. So, this guy wanted me to check out his song, and as soon as the song started playing, I was like, I can already see where the problem is. Like, I can hear it as it was playing before he said a word. And then if we go a little further, I go in and then start explaining not only what I'm hearing, but what you can do to fix that problem, right? Let's take this. I will actually do that if you want. If you don't, you just want feedback, like is this good or not, I could do that, right? We don't have to break it down or do anything like that, right? But if you're unsure about something, another really good producer out of Houston. I'm in Austin. I met him a long time ago as well, and he would pull up to my streams and be like, "Hey, I got something. Check it out. What do you think?" And sometimes I listen to it, and he's like, I'm like, okay, you know, this, that, or the other. He would agree, and I'd be like, add this or try this. Whenever you get stuck, try this, you know. And that's what he started doing. So do you hear my bass right now? And it's been working for him. Reverb is actually drowning out my bass. That's not good, right? So, now do you hear that? Bass sounds a lot cleaner. You just sent it? Okay. So, what you're going to do is take the low cut, push it up to 800, 900 hertz, okay? And then what it's going to do is going to eliminate the reverb from all the bass frequencies, so you can hear your low end. And now you can hear the reverb being applied from 1000 to 4000 hertz. That's the only place you're getting reverb, okay? And then you can find a good balance on your wet signal. How I do it, I like to use my bass, turn this up, and I drop the wet signal till it blends in with the bass. And I bring the signal back in so it doesn't go over, okay? It doesn't overpower it. You can bring it in, and you don't have to worry about hearing. Free game every day, all day, every day. And if you can't catch me on stream, I'm currently just on Twitter. Feel free to follow me. You get me up in the messages. I am on Discord as well. Same name, Sigma the Majestic. If we need to, I can do a, you know, share my screen, and I could walk you through some stuff, okay? Anytime. Okay, let's see. Let's stop that. Let me go to my email really quick here. Okay, I got you, and let's play. Hey, I like the intro. You think like me, man. Great minds think alike. Dun, 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 dun. Uh-oh. Okay, wait a minute.
You know, this life shit so crazy. 1 minute I'm down and out, next minute I'm on top of the world. I could say I truly came from nothing. To you I'm probably just another kid from the hood, but I stood by myself, walked by myself, did this shit by myself. Never asked for help. I know I ain't perfect, but I never had nobody else. Just me, myself and I. Honestly, I always needed peace, then I got it. Now I'm addicted to the chaos. I'm stressed, so I'm laying down verses like it's a seance, hoping it can reach you on the other side. Sometimes I stay up too late, thinking when it's gonna be my time. Will I rise up to the challenge, or will I fall face first, back in the dirt, back to the bottom? I just pray I get every single thing that I deserve. I want the respect of a legend, with the humbleness of a man that never had nothing. And if I switch, if my life spirals and twists out of control, just know that's how it's supposed to go. And I won't be mad if I fall off. My life's steady been a bumpy road. I dream of doing shows coast to coast. I want a better life for my children, so they don't have to know what it's like to struggle. I put the work in, even when
those are lyrics that come from the heart. I can respect
that. I gotta stay humble, staying in my bag. I ain't finna fumble. This for the nights when my stomach rumbled, when I got tripped up and tumbled, reminiscing when my mama told me keep my head up. Now I'm standing tall like I'm a tumbo. 22 years old, I'm just a young bull. Ever felt like giving up? Just know you gotta pull through. A puppet in this game, I cut my strings loose.
Okay, we got a little change up. Felt like the pitch in that beat is it's down a little too much, right? It almost sounds like you're trying to say something kind of like positive or at least emotional, and then it just swings from like kind of down to like all the way down, right? Because when you hear that voice coming like right, it just like boom. Outside of that, I like it. Good stuff. Said it's just the beat playing out for the rest. I want to say from that song, I don't recall those lyrics, which is why I'm thinking it's a change, like a different song that you entered in right there at the end. But I could be wrong. As a song that I listen to, okay, like shoot, now I gotta show my age. Alright, y'all see this, man? I got playlists like crazy, but the ones I'm proud of, they all start with Time Traveler. They're on YouTube. You can find these, right? Time Traveler, hip hop, R&B. I got one for rock. I got one for soul, right? And these things are listed under here. I got so many different genres that I listen to. I even got some people who are like up and coming, okay? So someone that I know was like, hey, I got a friend and they got some music, okay? And bam, I went and was like, who are they? How do I find them? And they said they're on all platforms. So I went and pulled them up, okay? So we support local artists as well, okay? It ain't just, I just want to hear mainstream, okay? And that's why, hey, look, man, when it comes to content, you're not beating YouTube. I don't care who it is, not Spotify, not Pandora. They keep trying to compete, right? Why do you think Spotify has like podcasts and they're trying to pay so much for podcasters to move over to Spotify? Because they're all on YouTube and they're getting that money. And so now Spotify's like, whoa, wait, this is jumping? Okay, now we're going to make a space for this. But one of the greatest things is when you're on YouTube, when you pay for the subscription, it's not just for the YouTube app, but you also get access to the YouTube Music app, which is kind of like Spotify, Pandora, right? So it auto generates lists and things like that. You make your own. But what I like about it is if I'm listening to a song and that song has a video, there's a tab at the top, and you can switch between audio and video. So if there's one there, it'll light up, and you can switch over, and it will, like say there's some talking and stuff before the video starts, it will find the place in the audio where you were, and then start the video from right there, like, and vice versa, right? Like this thing is crazy. I love YouTube. I use it. Okay, I use it faithfully. But yeah, that's my thing, and I got so much different music that I listen to and stuff. It's wild. It's wild. Okay, but shh, don't tell people. All right. But let's check this out. Okay, this is what we started creating yesterday. I finished it today. This is from Yakuza 8. This is my second project, and this second project is going to consist of all video game flips. So all of these beats are from video games. Here it is. So I still got 10 on you. Oh. We got Show Off in the building. Blue in the building. Appreciate you stopping by, man. How you doing? Yeah. I got that beat done. I got it done. So I didn't mean for that to play. Goodbye. Close the tab. All right. So we worked on this. This is sounding really, really dope. And again, we got others that we've been working on, and I can't wait to put these out. You guys will be able to use these for your streams. You'll be able to use these for clips that you guys create. I know you guys game a lot and stuff like that. You'll be able to use these, and unlike some people in the music industry, okay, some entities, the gaming industry really isn't trying to chop people down, right? Because we play their games, and so their music is pretty much greenlit, and so we're okay there, right? It's just certain people, right? To the point where I try to tell people about this. I've been saying this since I started the first project, right? And I didn't like how they did things. Hold on. Because if you guys didn't know, I'm about to put you on some game, okay? Watch this. Check it out, okay? Introducing the Twitch DJ program. Today, we're announcing a dedicated program that will enable DJs to stream the vast majority of popular music in a new DJ category. This is made possible by a first-of-its-kind partnership with hundreds of companies, including all of the major labels, Universal Music Group, Warner Music Group, Sony Music, and a large number of independent labels and other rights holders represented by Merlin. We're proud to be the first major service to provide a safe, long-term home for DJs to live stream, and we are excited to now be able to promote and support these creators as they build communities on our service and beyond. Okay? What was I telling you guys when that stuff happened like 3 years ago, right? When they started beefing with Twitch and Amazon, and they wanted streamers to pay for licensing to be able to play the Drake songs you like or whoever, right? Lil Yacht, all of them, right? They wanted y'all to pay, and Twitch kind of, found a workaround with Amazon through Amazon Music. You had to embed the player in order to not get hit because you guys are already paying to play the music, correct? So, what happened is that wasn't enough. And the music industry has been quiet, so everybody thought it was over. And now they're coming to tell you that they've made a deal with the music industry, or at least some, right? Because when we start talking about the RIAA and all that, that does include the gaming industry, but their composers don't seem to be as stingy, okay? So they've made a deal, and there's this program, and it's basically the licensing that you're gonna have to pay to be able to play the music that you like on your stream without getting in trouble. So now that this is coming out, guess what happens? Try it. Try it if you want to over there. Try it. Right? It'll eventually spread around, but try it over there. Okay? So for the first year, they're allowing people to opt in, especially DJs, and they're going to have a subsidy, which means they're going to eat the cost, right, for this licensing. And over time, they're going to slowly decrease that cost that they cover until you're paying the full cost for the licensing, right? To give people the chance to grow and whatever else and get their fan base or whatever. But it's like I was saying, why would you come after people who are just in their room playing Call of Duty and playing music? That doesn't make sense. I could see if you were a DJ, right? You have to use that music in order to get your fans and make your money, right? And so what they've done here is that with a twist. So if you're not in this program, they call it the DJ program, saying it's for DJs, which, yeah. But I'm assuming anybody could get into this if they want to have access to the catalog and not receive DMCA takedown requests, right? So that means for the vast majority of you who don't make enough money or not willing to pay for the license, whatever that huge cost is probably going to be, you don't get to do this. Because you can get hit and 3 strikes, you're out. You know that, right? YouTube, they're all doing that, but Twitch has been getting away with it. Other live streaming platforms have been getting away with it. And now this is the victory for the music industry. They have felled the giant, which means now anybody else, right? You know what it is about the fight. You knock down the biggest person, you take out the leader, and the rest of them are like, hey, look, we don't want no problems, okay? We don't want no problems. That's what this is, okay? So this came out, you can see up here, June 6th, okay? So it was just a couple days ago. I seen it on X. Can't call it Twitter now, it's X. All right, so I seen it on X, and I was just like, all right, nobody was listening, but you ain't gotta listen to me. Just watch the world turn, you know? You ain't gotta listen to me. My foresight means absolutely nothing. I call it like I see it, okay? And so you can go through this and look, you can share it. This comes straight from Twitch. You can share it, whatever, with one of your friends. Bam. So the first project that I started when this first happened a couple years ago was all original music, right? It's under Creative Commons license. So even if you're using this for video content on YouTube, you won't get flagged for it because under a Creative Commons license, it allows you to use it, okay? In your videos and all that. And I basically gave you permission. I still own it, but you can use it and not get flagged. And YouTube's not gonna flag you for it for using someone else's content. Under the standard license, it can, but under a Creative Commons license, it's for everybody to use, right? That's what I'm saying. You guys can use it, and so with the video games, right? It's a lot of covers and stuff like that, and you don't see unless it's probably Nintendo. we know how Nintendo gets down, but pretty much anything else. If you make a cover or a remix to or whatever, you can just go find it on YouTube. There's just plenty of them, right? Nobody's in trouble for that. That may change, but for right now, it's not the case. So why not, right? So for this project, instead of crate digging and doing things like that, something I've always wanted to do when I first started making music, and I got my files from like 2004. I could show you all the stuff I've been trying to do, was kind of revolving around sampling video games while people were crate digging. It's only, up until recently, I've gotten a whole lot better with mixing and things like that, where I can actually make it sound like really, 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 really good, right? And so I feel like the time is now. We'll just go through them, we'll do them. And the second project, yes, while it will contain samples, you're pretty much safe. And I'll definitely check and make sure of that on my own stream by playing them, right? And see what comes up. If nothing comes up, I will dump them for you guys to be able to use. Simple as that, okay? Let's move this over. All right. So we have quite a few. I know y'all been hearing me play them. We got Sonic and Knuckles. We got Streets of Rage. Okay. I wanted to start trying to get as many different games in the playlists first, and then we could always revisit and find others that were actually good as well, and then we can do stuff with those and we can build onto it. And there's tons game tracks to choose from, okay? Alright, so today what we're gonna do here is, now that this is done, we're gonna mix this stuff down. You can see I kind of been messing with stuff, but we'll go and actually mix this down. So first things first, if it's not already as good as we can get it, what we're gonna do is get a premix, right? Get everything set up so that we can start mixing. So I like to do walkthroughs when I'm doing my mixing and stuff. If this is something you're interested in, stick around because you're gonna hear a whole lot. But we're not gonna touch our faders. The faders are output volume that only controls the volume coming out from the mixer to your speakers. That has nothing to do with controlling the sound going into the mixer. That's what your input gain is for. And if you don't have an input gain knob or a gain knob, then get a gain plugin. If your DAW doesn't have one, search them. There's free ones. Okay, you can control signal coming in. With the gain, you control the quality of the signal. It's not so much making it loud. It will get loud, but you'll notice as you start turning it up and as it starts getting closer to zero, you start getting a more distorted sound, right? Let's take this for example. And the more I would turn this up, start hearing the hi-hat get a little distorted, right? It's not as clear anymore, right? So when you start messing with the gain, you start messing with the quality of the sound. It's like a signal to like noise ratio, okay? So we're gonna do the gain. We're gonna balance everything out, make sure we can hear everything. And then once we have that and we're able to hit our target volume for our mix, our pre-mix, then we're gonna go and start mixing. When we get done with the mix, we're just going to have a cleaner version of the premix, and we're still going to have our target volume, okay, for the beat. So let's get on that. Let's pull these. All right, so for the hats, if they're crash cymbals, closed hat, open hat. I like to leave them at like -21 as a starting point. Okay, you can always lower these later or whatever, but when we're dealing with hip hop, right, it's about as quiet as you're gonna get. Now, once it's done, if you want to make any slight adjustments, you can. But that's where I like to start. Some may even say, start -18, something like that, and that's fine, right? But I like it right here. So let's go ahead and now my kick. They usually suggest that a good starting point for your kick is somewhere between -9 and -6 dB. Okay, so we're looking at our kick right now, and we seem to be kind of there. So let's turn that up a little bit. The 3 loudest or 4 loudest elements in your track is going to be your kick, your snare, your bass, and your vocals if you have any. Okay, if you don't have vocals, kick, snare, bass. Okay, if you can get those 3 elements to play together, everything else is easier to place. Okay, check it out. So here's our kick, here's our bass, okay. Now for the bass, I find, okay, if you keep it about 3 decibels under your kick, you can hear both of them playing really nicely. Okay, it doesn't sound like they're trying to fight. If I turn this up more to try and match the kick, then you start losing the kick. Well, sorry, I got stuff on here, so it won't get too loud. But you'll start losing the kick, okay? Pre-mix, you want to be able to hear every element in your mix, okay? Without any effects being added. So let's do that for right now. Do we have anything else? I think that was it. Okay. So you can see, okay, if we try and make this about as loud as the kick, you don't really hear the kick too much, okay? So we're gonna drag this down until we can actually start to hear our kick. Sorry, I was on the wrong thing. Alright, and so by the time you can actually hear it, you're about here. We're just about here, so about 3 decibels down would be somewhere about here, right? It works. Trying to give y'all some gems here, but I like to start it, keep it around -12 to start. Okay, I can hear the kick really well, I can hear the bass really well. Snare. Okay, talking about the 3 loudest elements here. We don't have vocals. So for my snare, some people want it as loud as the kick, so they may do something like this. But here's the thing, right? The snare, when you do that, is too loud. And a lot of times when you hear people say you want your sounds to kind of be the same volume, what they're talking about is not what you see on the meters. It's what you perceive. It's what you hear. Okay, so as we're playing this, that snare is too loud. It's louder than the kick. Okay, so we turn this down a little bit to where it sounds about as loud as the kick. Okay, oftentimes what you're gonna find, you're gonna end up about 3 dB under the kick. So since our kick is about -9, the snare is about -12. Okay, it's just how this stuff goes, man. I don't make the rules. And then everything else, as you start playing it, just fill it in, right? Because those are the loudest. None of this stuff is gonna go over. Okay, like I said, we'll leave that at -21. Turn that up a little bit. I think they're about -15. That sounds cool. All right. drums. So what we'll do is I'm going to highlight these individual tracks right here up to 6, and then what we're going to do is in this empty track, if we right click on this arrow right here, we'll get some options. And what I want it to do is route all of those tracks to this track. Okay, so with it off, I can no longer hear any of my drum sounds. Okay, so we have effectively created, you can call it an aux track, you can call it a bus track, you can call it a subgroup. It's the same thing. And you want to do this because it makes your life easier. Once all of this is mixed and all that, it sounds really nice. If you feel like you need to turn your drums up, you don't have to go and try and move each one up the same amount to try and keep things even, right? You could just turn it up here. You could turn it down here if you need it a little lower, right? Once it's all balanced. Also, this will help save on memory, okay? So you don't have to go, I have to EQ, compress, and add saturation. I have to EQ, compress, add saturation. And I got to EQ, like you don't have to do all of that, right? What we'll do in these individual tracks is we'll clean up the sounds. And then what we'll do is when we get to our subgroup where all the sounds are playing at once, we'll add saturation, which is going to apply it to every sound that's going into that track. And we'll apply compression. Unless you want a particular effect or result out of a particular sound that you're not getting out of the box, then yes, go ahead and add that compressor on there or whatever, right? But if it already sounds good the way that you want it, that's the intended result, don't overdo it, okay? Don't overdo it. So let's get started here. Let's remove this. Alright, and we're just gonna clear this. It was just when I was working on it, I kind of did some stuff ahead of time, but it's okay. Alright, so let's take a look at our kick here. So we already know that we have bass, okay? Our bass is going to occupy those lower frequencies. So right off the bat, our kick does not need to occupy these frequencies. You're going to create a clash. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you sidechain this bad boy. You're still going to create a clash, okay? It's not going to be as clear as you want it. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a high pass at about 60. I think it starts on 60, so we don't have to move it. It's at 62. Okay. I don't know. Let's let some kind of something kick in there, and it has to be on 60. So we're on 60 right now, and we have this curve, right? So now that we have a high pass curve going on here, anything to the left is being canceled. You can't hear it. It's being deleted. All right. Anything to the right is allowed to pass through. And to the right are the higher frequencies, right? That's why it's called high pass. Now, there's an alternative to the name high pass, which is low cut. High pass and low cut mean the same thing. Low pass and high cut mean the same thing. So if you're in a particular plugin or something, and it's like it doesn't say high pass or low pass, and it says low cut and high cut, you can make the difference. Just flip it, okay? Instead of low cut, it's high pass, and instead of high cut, you can say low pass, okay? Same thing. So with this, now we can bring our bass in, for example. And you hear how much clearer it got, right? Kick coming in, just taking up all that room down there. And now there's room for the bass. Unbothered. It's got its own little space over there, okay? Cool. So now that we've taken the thump basically out of this kick, right? That definitely gets your speakers going, okay? But since we cut that out, we don't have that anymore. So since we've taken something away, we have to put something else in its place. Okay, so from the thump, we go and look for the punch, which is the next available area, right? And with the punch, okay, it kind of emulates the thump. It just doesn't have that low end rumble. Okay, that's what we're looking for. So, whether you want to put this all the way up or not, kind of make it small, not too thin. Okay, make it a little wide, but not too wide, and you can sweep through till you find that area, right? I can tell you now somewhere between 70 and 100 hertz. Some might even go lower and say 90, but work with me here. And sometimes on a kick, depending on what it is, you might find it up here about 110 to 120. And use your ears, okay? Know what that punch sounds like, okay? And you can never go wrong. So, let's see, here about 87. Just gonna bring it down, maybe up to about 3 dB to start, okay? If we don't like it, we can move it some more. As a general rule, okay? General rule. If you have to boost or cut more than 6 decibels to get an intended result, you're probably better off finding another sound, because you're going to end up doing way too much work to try and get something out of it, and may end up turning out to be a disaster. You still may not get what you're looking for, right? And you may be bringing in sounds or frequencies that you're not intending to, because the more you push this up, the course this curve, right? So it's going to start raising up some other stuff. So we're going to start +3, halfway to +6, and sounding good, okay? Bass is still hitting, and now we have that punch. So the punch and the kick is going to blend with the thump and the bass, okay? And the two working together is going to give us what we want, okay? If we didn't have this, then we could have the thump and the kick, right? And we could just let it all do its thing, right? Just let it go. But since we have these two, we have to make them play well together. They have to be able to blend. When we talk about mixing, we're talking about blending, okay? Think about like baking a cake or something like that. We're taking all these elements, all these ingredients, and we're mixing them together, and we want a nice, even consistency, okay? Because when we go to bake it, and then put the finishing touches on it, right? Mastering, we want this to be right. If it comes out all lopsided and stuff, I don't care what you do to it, that cake ain't gonna look right, right? Okay, so we're in the mixing phase. We're about balance. That's all we're trying to do. So let's keep going, because I'm going to show you some other things, okay? If you start to move here, okay, we're over at about, I'm at 315 right now, 315 hertz. Can you hear that? Does that sound familiar? It sounds kind of hollow, right? It sounds like if you were in a box or something, right? Or if someone was in a box and they started knocking and they had the box open, you would hear something like this. If someone started talking while they were in that box, you would kind of hear something like this, right? What this is telling us is there's not enough low end information, okay? Low frequency information. There's not enough high frequency information here. It's not solid, okay? It's just kind of, something like this. This doesn't sound good. So picture trying to turn this up. You're letting these frequencies also get louder, right? With these. So what we're going to do is bring this down. Do you see what happens? Listen. You see how it kind of like starts to, it it almost seems like it sucks in and it makes the kick sound tighter, okay? It makes the sound a little tighter because now we're getting rid of things that don't sound good. So now it sounds a lot cleaner, okay? So let's drop this and about 3 to start. Let's tighten this up just a little. Well, 19 is cool. All right, so whoops. You see how subtle that is, but how it makes a difference. Okay. Now, since we've taken something away, we need to put something in. You gotta remember this, right? It kind of helps you to keep a balance on things. If we take out the bass in something, then we need to boost somewhere else to make up for what we're losing, okay? So that we can obtain some kind of a balance here on the transaction. Because if I just take this out and don't do anything else, and I go and play the rest of this, then what you're going to hear is just like a really like an unfinished sound, basically. if I could say that, okay? So now that we've done this and we've kind of cleaned it up, right? We can move over, okay? Or we can find another area. Oh, right? The kick's got a little snap to it right here. Sound a little aggressive, a little more clarity there, right? So we can actually bring out this kick if we wanted to boost it over here in this area, okay? So again, we can go from this, that, okay? And then the last thing we're gonna do is we do high pass, right? Because we know we have low end stuff. Okay, I think everyone's pretty much familiar with that. But also, we need to low pass because we have things that live in those higher frequencies. And so when we make room on both sides, then we can accommodate for these different sounds that kind of live in those places. Like they need those spaces. They need to be heard there. That's their space. That's their zone. Let's see. Kefta? Am I saying that correctly? I probably butchered that too. But thank you. Appreciate the follow. How you doing this evening? Wait, I got 2. And not Essa. I don't think he replied. Didn't post in the kick chat. Oh, my bad. He was trying to post a link. I didn't even see that part. But he did send it to my email, so that's cool. Alright. Thank you guys for the follow. Greatly appreciated. Welcome. Let's see. Let me scroll back down here. Oilers smoke 0-3. Is it that bad? Was it that bad? Alright, let's go here. Alright, so what we're gonna do when we low pass, we're basically going to try and push in as far as we can. We do not want to interfere with the characteristic of the sound, okay? But we want to try and clear and leave as much room open in the high end as we can, because again, we have things that live up there in that space. Okay, so the more space that we're able to create and leave available for things that actually live there, the better it's going to sound. The more like separation you're going to get between each sound, and the better it's going to blend together. Okay. Said, you're a good teacher. I'm gonna start watching your streams. I appreciate it. This is something I've done for over 20 years, and if it surprises you, I have no degree. I have no degree. Okay, this is straight passion, trial, error. Didn't have the internet when I first started and wanted to do this, so I made a ton of mistakes. Um, but once I started kind of learning things, applying it, getting my ear to hear things, um, if you haven't noticed, I'm a bit philosophical. Okay, so I might give you some things in a way where you can digest it, make it easy for you to, you know, take in and be like, okay, I can't forget this because he said this. So now I can't unsee this. I can't unhear this. This is how it's gonna go, right? For example, here's your EQ, and you may not have a visual EQ. That's okay. We have a visual EQ. I'm about to drop something on you, and it doesn't matter whether you have a visual or not. The same thing applies. This is our visual EQ, okay? And what we're looking at, picture this as a stage. But this stage you are looking at from the top down, okay? Stage is here, and you're somewhere up here. You're looking down, and that's what you're looking directly at right now, right? Whenever we go to boost frequencies, we are pushing those frequencies or that sound to the front of the stage. So it's going to sound louder to the audience, right? When we cut frequencies, we are pushing frequencies back to the back of the stage. It's going to sound quieter, okay? So when you go to EQ things, right? Because when it comes to arrangement, you're like, what's my main sound? This, that, the other. Picture a stage. Picture where those elements, where those instruments might be found, right? You got brass in your track. Okay, brass sounds really good. You can boost it over at around the 2 to 3K areas where you're gonna find clarity in a lot of brass instruments, unless it's just a super low frequency, right? That's where you're gonna find it. But where do you usually find brass players, right? They're in the back of the orchestra. They're in the back of the stage. Why? Because brass gets really loud really quickly, right? It doesn't take much for brass to get out of control, right? So whenever you have brass in your mix, unless it's like the main thing or the only thing, you're going to want to cut those frequencies because you want to create the illusion that those instruments are being played in the back of the stage, not in the front of the stage. So in solo, it might sound good to boost it at 3K. Oh, that sounds great. But when you go and put everything else back in, now it's louder than everything else and it's blaring. Drop it. Give the illusion that the brass are in the back of your piano, in the back of your, like, you have to think about this stuff. So that's something you can do whenever you go to EQ. You can be like, hey, I have this guitar I'm trying to EQ right now, but also I have this piano, like, 10, that's an acoustic guitar. Okay, there's no amp, this, that, or the other. It's just the guitar playing on stage. Where would it be? How do I hear this? Is it in the background? Is it in the foreground? Make your decisions. Bam. Just that simple, right? So we're gonna cut in here with our low pass enough to kind of create some space here. We'll take out some of the air, some of the brightness in the sound, but not enough where we start to kill the clarity, right? The characteristics over here that we like, right? And I'm gonna show you that. If I push in too far, the kick starts to sound really dull. Okay, and if I bring everything back in, you're gonna lose that kick. Okay, that's not good. Okay, so we're gonna back up. See how you can start hearing the kick a lot better now? Okay, but this, we don't care for this. Listen. You hear all the brightness, you hear the harshness that's coming out of that? We don't want that. imagine you trying to turn this up. You go into the club with the big speaker. You at a block party. This is what's coming in. As soon as they go to say, hey, turn this up, that's what's coming in. And then you got other stuff, and then that stuff's up, right? And other stuff's up. Your crash cymbals is up, right? Now all the high frequencies, that stuff's just stacking up as they're playing together. We don't want that. It gets out of control, right? So we come in here, we low pass, and we take some of that out, because in the grand scheme of things, you're not missing that. And let these things that actually live up there occupy that space, occupy the listener's ears, their attention, right? Your kick don't need to be up here. It has no business up here. Okay? Boom. And then as always, bypass. About right here. Come back. See how it jumped? Make a game. Put it back. Okay? Now I can come here and I can listen to this. I could bypass it, and the only thing I'm going to hear are the changes I made to this kick. So there's the thump, right? There's the really harsh sounds that we took out. This is what we're left with, okay? And you're hearing it at the same volume, or at least around. You're probably not going to get the exact numbers, okay? But that's okay. As we go to clean up everything, like I said, we're going to end up with a cleaner version of our premix, okay? So let's move on. So yeah, even when I'm not streaming, if you got questions, if you want me to check anything out, get feedback, whatever, I'm on X. Alright. I believe the handle is The Majestic One. So I guess I can go grab the link. And this is if you want. You don't have to, right? But you're always able to get a hold of me if I'm not on a stream or something like that. And oops. And you could always ask questions and things of that nature. So let me go ahead and drop that if you would like. There we go. And let's go with this snare here. Oops. Oh, I guess we got a break there. So let's take our snare here and same thing. Okay. So we're gonna clean it up. Now, when it comes to our snare, we can see here, right? It's really bright around here. Where it's not bright is here, okay? And what do we have that lives down here? We have our bass that lives down here. We have our kick that lives down here, okay? So this might not look like it's doing much or anything, but if every single sound has some kind of buildup right here, you're going to start getting problems in your low end, okay? Clear the space. If we don't need it there, it don't need to be there, right? Alright, cool. So now we know for sure nothing's gonna be jumping over here, right? It's quiet. And we're over at what, 120 hertz, okay? So the kick we boosted over at 80, the low end when we get to the bass where we're gonna have going over here 60 and below, okay? It's clear. The snare's not gonna bother it, which means when the kick, the snare, and the bass are playing, it feels like everything is in its own little space, okay? And they're not fighting with one another to be heard, okay? Same thing with low pass. Again, clear out this stuff. We don't need it up here. we're trying to do is see how far we can actually get in. See, once we get here, we're about 7K. It starts sounding dull, right? It's not really clear. Back it up. So let's take it to about 8. Where this is 9K. Great. All of this, we don't need it. Okay. That, if we turn that up, that sounds a lot better than that. Right? Alright, so let's start looking here. Here is where you would have like the bass in the snare. Okay. I'm not going to do too much to it because there's not very much info, as you can kind of hear that, right? But it's nice. Here is where more of the energy is, right? And you're getting some clarity there. Let's go and sweep again. Okay, there's that boxy area. We don't like that, okay? So we want to drag those frequencies down. Okay, that's going to tighten up too far down. That's going to tighten up our snare. Okay. Boom. And then right here is like the brightest. So without me even being here, you can see it's more red here. But you could also hear as you get there. Right, we can even turn this up and it sounds good without being overpowering. That lets you know you found the space where there's clarity in that sound. Okay, let's boost this maybe about 2. When I go to like higher frequencies, I tend to not boost them too much like I would like say down here, because the higher frequencies are shorter waves. Okay, so they can get really powerful and really out of control really fast. So we just do a little bit and then we leave it alone. Okay. Okay. And then we're up to -9. We started on -12. Pull it. Damn. All right. Okay. Now let's take our close hat here. For this, I don't do anything but high pass, low pass. If for some reason it's a really loud hat and I need it quieter, I might put a dip somewhere. But usually they're already very energetic and already very loud, so you don't need to boost it, right? Show you. Now this one's done really well, right? We have nothing down here, but sometimes you'll get them and you'll have stuff going on here and down in the low mid area. We don't like that. So we go till we can hear the bass, that kind of low end rumble in the hats disappear. Once that disappears, stop. Don't need to go any further, okay? But like I said, this is already, it's done, okay? But usually once you get to about like 600, maybe 700, maybe even 650 hertz, you're gonna hear that low end from the hats just completely go away. Perfect. Don't move it. Okay. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna low pass again. Wait, what did I just pick? There we go. All right. So again, you can kind of see they already did a good job here, and we're just pretty much following their footsteps. But usually you'll have some hats where all of this is kind of moving, right? And you might be tempted something like this. Okay, again, once that volume starts coming up, that don't sound very good at all. So I actually dropped out college, was studying music production, mixing and mastering. Nice. I didn't even make it there, man. I didn't even make it there. I ended up going to ITT, and I didn't want to be there. That's another story. All right. I guess it's one of the downsides of graduating high school too early. You're not really a man yet, so some things you don't get to do. You know, you can't make your own choices. It's kind of so here we go. Um, yeah, when you start doing this again, you're introducing hissing, that brightness, right? Think about this, playing on really loud speakers. This is gonna hurt somebody's ears, right? Being turned up where the whole building can hear this, right? This is gonna start hurting. So we don't want to do this. It sounds good when you solo it, but again, that ain't what we looking for. So let's try this. Back. Boom. What we're gonna do, we'll put on low pass. And then let's push in. Now, they pretty much already got this here, which, cool. I have no complaints. But usually somewhere from like 13K to 15K, you should still be able to hear your hat, cymbal, whatever, right? And still have that clarity, but we get rid of the bright, the harshness, okay? So then, when it's time to turn this up, that sounds much better. It's much pleasing to the ear. That's not going to fatigue the ear as quickly because we're getting rid of those harsh and bright frequencies, okay? Here you can hear this a lot better. You can make out the hat actually, you know, versus this, you can still hear some of that harshness just kind of ringing out. Boom, okay? So we started at minus 21. Let's see where we are. Now, if you just want it to be, you know, maybe a little louder or something, or bring it out, you can come over here and maybe boost. But again, when you're dealing with these really high frequencies, try and keep it like 1, maybe 2 dB. Like I said, if I do anything, and it's usually with the cymbals because they're just really energetic, right? I might cause a dip, so I can keep them quiet. Right, when we're dealing with hip hop, a lot of times people want their hi-hats quiet, they want their crash cymbal quiet, right? And we can achieve that by giving the illusion these things are in the back, okay? By quieting those frequencies, by cutting them, okay? So this already sounds good. I don't have a problem with that. So we're gonna leave it like that, put our volume back to where we had it. Okay. Boom. Now let's go next. What is here? Hold on. Okay. So we do have an open hat. This is kind of annoying just because it doesn't occur as often. Let me see if I can. Okay, we'll have to do something like that. Just so that way I can trigger it this really quickly so we don't have to stay on this too long. But usually for all of my hats, closed, open, whatever, this is how I'm gonna do it. The only time I might have something do something a little different is if there's like a ride cymbal, because it usually has like a different color to it, right? Socials are broken on Kick. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll definitely need to adjust. I've definitely removed myself off of a lot of places. I am not on Twitch. I am on Kick. I'm on YouTube. I am on DLive. And I'm also streaming right now on Twitter. So a few places that I'm at, but yeah, Twitch, I don't like where it's heading. I mean, sometimes you can't really tell if they're doing a good job or not, and then something comes up and you go, oh yeah, the people would be elated when they hear this messed up news. So I've been off of Twitch maybe a year or two now, something like that. D Live Social is good, but it's just YouTube. Ah, yeah, I may need to go and update that stuff. I do apologize. Um, but if you want to follow me on there, the same name, just type in Sigma, the Majestic. It's all together, no spaces, and it should have the same icon. You should see the, the animated version of my face with the crown on it. So you went back to Twitch, that cloud editing can be found elsewhere and all the other tools. Yeah, like I said, like this is how me and a few other people look at it. Twitch is like Facebook, right? Everybody's there, right? Most people will tell you they hate it, but they're still there, right? We're all still kind of there. Like, I'm on Twitch. I don't stream to Twitch, is my thing, right? So I support other people and stuff like that I've met on Twitch, but I just don't stream on there. So it serves zero purpose for you to go find me on Twitch. Because I'm not streaming to it, unless there's some kind of miracle that happens where to get it together. I get all the extra stuff they're throwing in there. But yeah, sometimes the shiny stuff is like it's like fool's gold, okay? It's not as real. It's not as real, or it's not what people are, wanting or asking for, but they do throw it in there. So yes, it's helpful, but at the end of the day, it's not really allowing content creators to be themselves, or at least a vast amount of them, right? Um, Instead of like moderation tools and things like that, which is fine, like how about we start making sure people are actually following the rules? How about we start making sure uh people aren't sitting there doing, you know, half naked cosplay streams and putting themselves under family friendly while they're spewing profanity while some child is watching them because they're under family friendly. Like just stuff like that. If you did that, right, and just be like, hey, we got some morals over here, I'd definitely be looking to go back. But there's just it's too much stuff going on, and for me, I'm just like, you know what? I'm better off going elsewhere. There's way too many places. I just go elsewhere. You're doing 3 digits on Twitch, and Kick has gotten you nothing. Yeah. So, like I said, there's people. Hey, they're on Twitch. They may have complaints about it or whatever, but that's their livelihood, so they're gonna stay there. And like I said, I still support people on there. Like I'm not writing them off as like I'll never go to that site again. Yeah, I support people. I'll still be there. I'm gonna show up. We're gonna, whatever. But as far as me streaming to that platform, I'm cool. Yeah, I definitely understand it. Kick is way behind the curve. Yeah, you gotta understand that too. They're in beta. It's the same thing with D Live. D Live's been in beta since 2018. Just let that marinate for a minute. Right, but I kind of have faith in D Live. First of all, D Live is on a blockchain. It's a live streaming platform, but it's on a blockchain. It's actually the biggest live streaming platform that's on a blockchain right now. Um, the blockchain is BitTorrent. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with like BitTorrent, especially from back in the day. Things like LimeWire, right? We used to download movies and games and stuff like that from there. But BitTorrent is now this like blockchain thing. It's a blockchain. What am I trying to say? It's a blockchain for the entertainment industry. If you want to look into that, so if any of you guys are familiar with crypto, then you might know something about Tron, right? Justin's son, I think he stepped down, but you know, at one point he owned Tron and he bought BitTorrent. And DLive bought BitTorrent back in 2018. So Tron owns BitTorrent and DLive. So kind of invested in that stuff as well too. Shh. But yeah, it's on a blockchain. You do not need to be like an affiliate or anything to start receiving donations on there. Like as soon as you create the account and hit stream, like people can just come in and start dropping donuts on you. Okay. Now once you get your affiliate, then people can subscribe to your page. But from the jump, you don't have to reach a particular metric in order for people to be able to donate and start giving you money and receiving money. Okay. So I like it there. It's pretty cool, but it's been a long time. But since I don't know of any other live streaming platforms that are on a blockchain, hey, I'm kind of like, that's the future. That's what we're moving towards anyway. So I got hopes for it. I'll stick around. Oh shoot. Just hit the wrong button. No. What is it? I want to say F5, but I could be wrong. Yeah, it's F5. All right, there we go. So, and I messed this up too, didn't I? Sorry, I'm on the wrong thing. All right, so let's go and try and. Okay, and. Still about right there, it's fine. I had this at about -15. All right, cool. This is like a really short sound. I just want to do it like really quickly. Plus, I kind of already explained the process I'm going to do for all of these, so it doesn't make sense to explain that whole process again for them. We can just cut to the chase. All right. Same thing with this. Come in. Again, once you get to about 600, 650. Lose the bass. If you want a little bit more of it, you can back it up. Not gonna hurt you. But again, just clearing out that space where these sounds don't live, but it's occupying, because these small things start to add up and then you'll start having problems. So we always want to make sure we create space. Start to lose clarity. Great. Back to -21. Done. All right. All right. For this, we have only in this section here. Okay, we have that part there. So I'm going to use this, and we're going to do something similar with this as well. There's just a bunch of symbols. So right here, I can see it kind of jumps up a little bit. So for this, what I may want to do is just bring that down a little bit more, and that'll kind of bring a balance to this sound as a whole. Okay, and then what this is also going to do is, because we have this crash cymbal, so you see how, because that frequency ducks under, it's almost like it pushes that back, and so it allows the crash cymbal to actually come through and breathe. So it allows us to run into that, and bam, you can hear every single sound. Okay. Did I have this at -18? I did. So let's bring this back. right, so we have all of our drums, right? We did route everything to a subgroup or a bus. We could actually name this, so I'll call this our drum bus. And so here, as you can see here, I just did EQ. Okay, didn't feel like we needed to add anything to kind of like shape any of the individual sounds. I like how they are, but here we're going to actually apply something to the whole of our drums. Okay, so usually here's where I like to kind of do this stuff. So I'm going to add some saturation, and then we're going to add some compression in the drum bus. Okay, with this, there is a preset that I like to start with. Okay, it's already got the 4 bands and stuff, and as you can see, it already has the name. It already has hip hop in the name, so you know it must be good, right? Must be fire. So let's play. I'm gonna turn it on. Listen. All right, so it gives it just enough energy to kind of cut through the mix and make itself a little more presence. What saturation is going to do, right, is it basically just excites or adds more energy to the frequencies. It just makes the sound more energetic. Okay, so you might hear them say something like, in the low end, it'll add warmth. And in the higher frequencies, it'll add upper harmonics, right? Those are the terms they use. And all this is telling you is that it's adding energy, excitement across the board to your sound. Okay, so we can go from these drums sounding kind of dull and not really doing much to getting that little bit of and now the hats kind of poke out a little bit more, and the snare kind of pops out a little bit more, and the kick just a little, got a little more punch to it. Okay, he said I'm back. Welcome back, man. Welcome back. Why? I swear this sounds like it just went out of tune or something, and I don't. They're the right notes. It's just that's not the right sound. I don't know why. Why does it sound like that? Okay, we'll fix it. I don't like it. I don't know what it is, but FL's been like giving me trouble. I don't like it. Maybe it's an update or something. Okay, so we got the saturation, but I do want to kind of play with this a little bit. So, let's see. Can we mute the other? Okay. So let's listen to our drums. We have 4 bands here that I can move around. Okay, this one is when it's set to 60. We don't really want to move anything here. Again, we already rolled off our kick and stuff at 60, so there should be nothing in our drums that we want to boost over here in the first place. So we have this. We have where we can actually solo. Okay, so if we want to make sure we're picking up our snare and stuff like that, okay, we can move this to kind of include more frequencies within a particular band. Okay, now I like to do this one. Here, I try and get the really high frequencies. Unfortunately, you won't be able to negate the snare, but at least try and get those really high ones. And that way we can make sure like we're not applying too much in those super high frequencies. Where are we at right now? 5. We bring it to like 8K. Okay, just those really, really, really high frequencies. Okay, and then this stuff that's here, a lot of this we don't really want too much. right? This is gonna end up getting like really nasty really quickly. So a lot of times I just drop it just a little bit, maybe like 2 dB, 3 dB. Okay. And then here we want to be careful because we can drive this signal, but the more we drive this area, right, too much saturation starts sounding nasty. So we want to kind of listen to it. As soon as we get a change, dial it back a little bit, and leave it. We don't need to go any further. Oh, we're still on the same band. I don't like that. They tricked me. That's not too bad. Maybe down a little bit more. All right, bypass. So we're about here. Turn it back on. Doesn't look like it really moved. Okay. But if we want to be perfectionists with it, we drop it down just a little bit more. Okay. This is good. So again, we can bring this all back in. That's before. And that's after. Okay. Just a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is add compression. So for your drum bus, you usually want to start with a 10-to-1 ratio. Okay. So it's really heavy compression. Let's pull this all the way here. This all the way down. Let's move this all the way down. And what we're going to do, okay, is we're going to move this until, actually, I guess if we do this, we won't do it so much, but normally what you would want to do is play this sound, okay, and you're gonna move this until you start getting some attenuation, which is compression. Usually you'll have like a red meter here. As soon as you start getting some attenuation, you found the peak. Okay, what you can do from there is you can start to shape it. So a lot of times if you want like a punchier kick or a snare, right, what you can do is once you find that peak, adjust the attack, okay, which just determines how long it takes for the compressor to fully start compressing. Okay, so if we were to move this to 6 milliseconds, okay, as soon as the volume crosses the threshold we have set, it's going to take 6 milliseconds for that compressor. It's like a cumulative thing. It's not like 6 milliseconds thing will just slam down. It's like a progressing thing. So it'll take 6 milliseconds. It'll slowly apply till 6 milliseconds, and then it's fully compressing, doing its job, right, on the waveform. So what that does is, because it's not fully compressing, it'll allow the transients, right, the very beginning parts of the sound to kind of slip through without, being altered very much or compressed. And so what ends up happening is you can kind of hear that a lot clearer, and so it translates into having like a punchier kick or a snappier snare, right, because we're doing that. So as you start to move the attack, right, I'll pull this all the way up, you'll notice it stops reacting, right? Because now by the time it reacts, right, we're already past the point where the threshold is already back under. So but I don't want to do like too much there. I'm just gonna leave it on 3. And the reason why is, at least for the drum bus, our goal is to try and get more consistency right? Volume wise with our drums, right? We just kind of want to glue this together. So 3, 4, 5, fine, right? And then we're gonna push and start to compress more, right? Get to about 3 dB, see how we feel. As a general rule, you're gonna hear me saying this quite a bit, okay? It's a general rule. You do not want to cross past -6 decibels of attenuation. What starts to happen is you start to lose a lot of the dynamic range and it starts to sound really flat, right? Let me show you. As soon as we pass that, right? Now it doesn't really sound like your drums have much life going on inside of it, right? The way it's working is it's taking those peaks and it wants to smash them down, right? So as it's doing that, it's bringing them closer to the valleys, okay? And so if you push it down too far, they'll start basically meeting. And so then when the kick hits, right, and the snare and anything else is going, you can't really like differentiate, you know, the energy between it because everything's being just like this, okay? So we want to do it enough where we still keep the dynamics, like we can still kind of get some rhythm and things like that. We can still feel it, but at this point, like that doesn't even make your head want to nod. Like you hear it, but there's no, it's like the feeling is gone from that, right? So if you stay behind this, it's fine. The moment you pass over that, you start to hear it. Just gets worse and worse as you go, right? So we're gonna stay about halfway. We're gonna play it safe. Let's get about -3, okay? I'm just gonna mute you right now because I don't know why you sound like that. All right, and then for the release time, okay, 100 milliseconds is a good start time, but all the release time is responsible for is telling the compressor once the sound dips back under. See this? Once it dips back under this line, after 100 milliseconds, stop compressing, right? And that's, again, another gradual thing. So within that 100 milliseconds, it's slowly letting off and then turning off, okay? If you have it on too long, what'll happen is while it's waiting, where we at? 2,000 milliseconds, so 2 seconds. It takes 2 seconds to fully shut off. So while everything is playing, from the first time, boom, that sound goes over the threshold, it takes 2 seconds to turn off. Anything that is playing after that point, within that 2 seconds, let's say nothing else went over the threshold. For 2 seconds, anything that's playing is getting compressed, even if it's not over the threshold, because it takes 2 seconds to turn the compressor off. So you could get something that sounds really weird, right? Right, you're like, okay, the initial hit, that kick when it first starts, and then the next kick that comes in, like the punch is not there, the snare, like what happened, right? Too slow of a release time. 100 seconds is 100 milliseconds is a really good place to start and works for a lot of things, okay? If for some reason this doesn't work, right, you can always try lowering or you can try increasing. Depends on the sounds you're using or whatever, but 100 is usually just set it there and you're good to go, all right? All right, so now that we got our compression going, let's take a look. With bypass, again, we're about here, turn it on. You can see with the compression, we lost some volume. So we're gonna take our makeup gain. Okay, so when they talk about compression, they talk about making the louder sounds or the louder parts quiet and the quiet parts louder. That's a two-part thing. That's what we just did. So when we compress, we're actually taking those peaks, those louder parts of the sound, we're pressing them down, right? Then when we go to do the makeup gain, right? Here's our original sound. We squash it, right? So now we're like this. But I thought the quieter sound's supposed to get louder. It does, because you got to take the makeup gain and you got to bring it back up, which is going to make the quieter sounds louder because you push the louder sounds down closer towards the quieter sounds. Okay, so this is how you can get really good consistency with like synth basses, right? 808s and things of that nature, right? You can squash the louder, the more energetic parts. You can squash it down to be more consistent with the less energetic parts, and then you can raise the volume up, and you get more of a consistency throughout your bass, right? That's how it works. So, alright, that's good. And now when we're listening to our beat, our kick, our snare, all these elements and our drums that are hitting sound more consistent. It's not like the hi-hats might be, going a little crazy here, or the snare might be going a little crazy here, because we kind of tamed those peaks, brought them down to be more consistent. So the hi-hats kind of pop out a little more, but you don't hear the snare just blaring either. You know what I'm saying? Everything's got a little bit more consistency to it. That's what we want. Alright, now let's go here. And I know I took off a lot of this stuff, so you're probably like, what is going on? Oh, that's why it doesn't match, because I took off the pitch wheel. We had I was like, why is this acting weird? But yeah, that's it. Okay, we're good now. Sorry. So I got the pitch wheel here. We pitched it up 2 semitones. Okay. Found our scales in D minor that made all the difference from that point forward. We added some EQ, and again, it's I guess I can show you guys this stuff too. Boom. So again, we have the sample playing. We can see it's got stuff in the low end, stuff in the high end. Well, we know we have what? We have stuff that lives in the low end. Okay. And with this occupying that low end, it kind of messes with it, right? So what are we gonna do? We're gonna cut out what we can without really butchering this, okay? So once we start to do that, you start noticing, now you can hear your low end a little better, right? Is it killing the sample that you have in here right now? Not yet, but as you can see, we can start it, right? It's too far. So usually when you're dealing with the samples that you're trying to apply from like songs, take it to about 120 to 160. That should clear out enough low end for your bass, your kick, and sometimes your snare. Okay. So I always like starting at 120. If I need to, I can push it up, go about 160. Okay. You just got rid of that low end, but you still kind of hear. And then same thing here. Right here, we start to lose that clarity. Back it up. See if we can cut in a little more to it. Great. Alright, so now that leaves plenty of room for other things to play that live to either side of it. You see how cleanly that comes through? You see how beautifully that comes through? That's what we want. Okay? Again, mixing is about balancing. We want to get all of these sounds, give it its own space and all that, and we want it to sound, not look. We want it to sound about as loud as the next sound. Like each sound needs to be somewhere sounding well or not is determined by what you hear and not by what you see. But it helps to know what you're looking at, because a lot of times you can do some things with your eyes closed, or your eyes open and your ears closed. Alright, so we got this, and then I just added some compression. See, we got a compressor here, and that's because some of these chops, as you can see here, right, it's kind of inconsistent. So as they're playing, the volumes would dip and stuff like that. So I compressed it to keep the volume, right, as the thing is playing, about as consistent as possible. Okay, so we try to keep that about as even as we can get it. You might want to turn that up a little bit more. Alright, so that's done, and then to the bass, right, which I took off. But once we do this, now if you're just starting out, what I would say is EQ your bass, your snare, and your kick. Get that stuff to blend in first, and then focus on everything else. So like I said, if you have vocals, okay, those are the four loudest elements in the track: kick, snare, bass, vocals. If you can get all of that to sit well, play well, everything else becomes easy to do, okay? So the way I work is I just go left to right. We're just gonna do all the drums, and you know, we just work our way through. But to start off, get used to it, setting and getting it balanced, what it sounds like, all that, and then do whatever you want after that. So we added saturation. Okay, so this is what it sounds like without it. Okay, again, making it more energetic, giving it, you know, more that thump, that rumble that we like. Okay, then what I did is, you would think like EQ first, whatever. No, so we're gonna do the saturation. The saturation kind of works almost like a limiter. And the simple fact is, when you start to drive the sound, what it'll do is there's a wall, there's a ceiling, and then that sound won't pass that ceiling, basically. So you can have something like, I wonder if we can, I guess it seems pretty consistent. Yeah, it'd be kind of hard to show you with this one, but basically, like, say you had something that was kind of jumping up, and then maybe a part when you played the lower notes, right, it kind of went down. You can use saturation. As you drive that, it'll actually kind of make that consistent, and then each note will be hitting, right, about the same. But sometimes to do that, you may have to drive it too far. So after you do this and get it to sound the way you want, if the volume still not consistent, right, if the sound of the 808 still not consistent, then we want to compress it, right? And that's where we can go. You see how that, no compression? You see how it sounds like the 808 is now more audible, right? So before, you're just hearing more of the really low end, but you see how this is, right? So when we go to compress it, of course, it's going to take these peaks down depending on how far we compress it. Okay, it's going to get more close to this, and as we raise the volume, we'll start hearing more of this. Okay, so now you have a bass that hits, and across the spectrum, it sounds more audible. Now that I have this consistency that I want, now I go in and EQ it. Okay, now that I have the consistency I'm looking for, let me take it out. Because what happens if I EQ before I do this? Well, that means all the work I just did on EQ, dipping this out and lowering these frequencies, when I go to compress it, it's just gonna bring it right back to being equivalent with, you know, something else I wanted to boost or anything like that. So we do these first, then we can come in and say, okay, these frequencies I want to cut out, or I want to boost up, or do something like that, right? And then we can further edit it. Why is that? So the reason why we want to do stuff like that is because we have our kick. Remember, we boosted about 85 when we were looking for the punch, right? So we could take this, we're already at 85. What I'm gonna do is create a dip, not a big dip, just enough so that when that kick hits, the bass is not in the way of it, okay? Okay, so not only did on the kick, did we make room for the bass, okay? For these really, really low frequencies, but we made room for the kick because it's trying to poke out there. So we gotta create these spaces for these sounds so that they can exist together and not interfere. If I didn't do that, you end up with a problem. Now it feels like my kick is kind of losing. It's not being heard, right? It's not being seen. Imagine, you know, one singer in front of the other, no microphones, one singer in front of the other, and the one in the back is like the main singer. Like, you know, are you gonna really hear them as well as you're hearing the backup singers in the front? So you gotta make these decisions. What's foreground, what's background? You gotta let these things have its own space. So by dipping this right here just a little bit, we're not missing out. We're not like killing these frequencies. We're just turning it down enough to where it feels like, again, it's behind or it's ducking under the kick. Now again, you can go in sidechain as well, but the thing is, when you do that, if you don't EQ and make space and all that, what you're gonna end up doing is you're gonna end up ducking a lot more than you bargained for, right? If I didn't go and EQ this because I seen a YouTube tutorial that said just sidechain the kick and listen to how it sounds, and that's great. Well, yeah, now all these frequencies that are playing from the kick are gonna go right to your bass, and it's going to duck your bass and all those frequencies. But you want your bass to be supreme over here in these sub frequencies, okay? So we gotta still do the work to go and clean it up. And then if you feel like you need to do more, like if you wanted to have this up more and then you wanted to go and duck it, okay, but at least you know you have this space. So when the kick comes in and it pushes it down, this also still goes down and it still lets the kick through, okay? And it's one of the biggest issues, or the biggest problems that people will, when they bring beats to me and I listen to it, right off the bat, I'm like, you're low end, right? And that also stems into other issues, right? So they feel like because they're not doing this work, the low pass, the creating, as they're building their beat, this starts building up and it starts getting too loud, and now it feels like their low end is underwhelming. So what they do is they go and they try and turn up their low end. That's bad, because now not only do you got a problem here, but you got a problem here, and that didn't cancel out that. Right now you just made two problems. Probably more once you throw vocals on it, because you're like just boosting stuff for no reason, right? So clean the stuff up, make it sound good, and then, right, understand and apply the fundamentals: EQ, compression, saturation, reverb, delay. It's all you need to mix. The rest of that stuff is more like specialty, right? It's more like specialty. But those those are the 5 essential tools that you need, and you can do a whole lot with just a little, okay? And as long as you understand how the tools work and you understand the parameters and what you're doing, it's nothing. After that, it's just practice, because you got to train the ear to be able to hear when you got it right, when you got it wrong, when it's too much, when it's too little. And that right there takes time, okay? So, but yeah, let's say we drive this up, okay? We can take our kick, okay? Go over here to our basses, right click, and say that we want to sidechain to this track. In other DAWs, there might be something a little different, a process for it, but we're basically going to link this, okay? From here, we're going to apply the Fruity limiter again. We're going to go into our compressor, and right here is where we can do our side chain. So if you can see that, oh sorry, right here. So if you can see this, we could actually put that on 1, which is here. If I had this named, it would say kick, right? Because this would be my kick. But now this is side chain. So what I could do, ratio on like 3. Let's do a 3 to 1. Okay, as I start to bring this down and we start to get the compression, you'll notice the volume starts to dip like really fast, right? So let's take it off. It's just constantly more up here. With it on, so you can see what I mean. Okay, do you see the pumping we're starting to get now? It's slamming down the volume, right? Now we can do a side chain, right? Now if you want to do that, that's fine. But when I side chain, I usually do maybe like 3 dB, so it's not very noticeable. Some go a little further and they want a pumping sound. Hey, whatever you're going for, go for it. But I do just enough to make sure that the bass is ducking and making room for the kick, and I just don't do too much on it, right? Just enough, because I already made a dip, so it's already kind of there, but I want that kick to be really, I want you to hear that, right? But yeah, you can have something up really, really loud, and something like this sounds good. When I take it off, you can hear how that bass is not really budging, right? But with it just ducks for that duration, right? And we can kind of shape it with the curve here. The more I turn this up, the bigger the curve will get, right? You can start seeing that shape. Okay, so you can kind of play with it, shape it to how you like it, and then boom, you're done, right? Yeah, that's how that works. But again, do the fundamentals, make room, let everything be able to do what it's got to do. And then if you're going to do something like side chaining or whatever, then fine, go ahead and go in there and side chain, but at least you got your fundamentals down, right? You got your EQ and all that, created the space. All right, so let's for me. All right, so we got 2, is it 2 more? We got 2 more. So we got this, and then we have our piano. Okay. Actually, I could that stuff open. All right, So normally I can go through this process in about 30-45 minutes. I've never had like a super large amount of tracks to go through, but I'd say I've had somewhere in like the 20s, right? Somewhere around here. Um, and when I'm not, talking through it and stuff like that, I can go through it pretty fast. It's just boom, 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 boom. Here, make decision, get everything done, all that. But as I'm talking, of course, it takes longer. Let's go to. All right. So this sounds pretty consistent. Volume's pretty consistent. I'm not too worried about adding anything to it, like saturation or anything. It is. I'm gonna say it sounds pretty high up there, but there is some stuff going on here. What you do is. Again, this stuff will build up in the low end, so right here it starts to sound kind of thin, kind of loses some of the low end for it. Depending on what it is, you may want it. Right, it's up to you. But here we want some of it, right? So let's pull it back to about 200. Okay, again, that still gives us room for all our low end and all that stuff. And then let's do a sweep. So here, even though we can see there's a lot of energy, it also sounds like there's a lot of stuff in between that's not very, very good, right? That doesn't sound too pleasant. Up here, it starts sounding kind of nice, but here, where it's like all this energy, it still sounds kind of hollow. Like it's just not really connecting. So what we could do is, okay, anytime you find those hollow spaces, when you go to drop the frequencies, it's gonna tighten up the sound. Okay. I do kind of like how this sounds over here in about 3K. So let's try here. This kind of sounds good across here, but I don't want to make like a really, really big curve. So let's choose here, see how we feel about it. Let's go back. We started at -21. Said, it's pretty consistent. I'm using why am I forgetting this? Native Instruments Complete Control. Okay, so a lot of stuff's kind of already in here and tweaked and effects and things on the back end, right? So here we're just kind of cleaning it up, and I don't need to really apply anything else to it. It already sounds pretty good, and volume wise it's pretty consistent. Okay. Here kind of the same thing. Okay, so it's another library. It's got all the effects and stuff here, which I could tweak, which I did. I got this thing sounding the way I wanted it to. Sounds dope, right? So again, we don't have to worry about like trying to put reverb or anything, and if we do, we just go in here and do it from the interface. So all I want to do here is I just want to clean it up again. So pianos, again, let's treat it the same, anywhere from like 120 to 200, okay? If we go over to 200, this is what it'll sound like. We kind of kill that bass, right? We want some of that, so let's pull it back to about 160. Let's see what we get. Yeah, I kind of like that. Hear how it sounds against the bass. Got its own space, right? Not looking for the rumble in the piano. We're not looking for it to replace our bass, but that sounds good, so. About right here, it start to lose a little bit, so that's fine. I mean, it still captures everything. Now, we have our bass in the piano about here. About here, starts getting kind of boxy, right? Now, with this, we're finding clarity here, but for this piano, it's not like our main sound, as this is kind of what's carrying us. Okay. Oh, I didn't do anything with that. Well, that's bad, ain't it? So what I want to do is actually this. Kind of forgot about it, moving too fast. What I actually want to do with this is I'm going to duck these under. Minus 18. Pushed down on this too far, didn't I? Yep, that was my mistake. It happens. That might be a little too much. Let's see. Here's the line, so yeah, about 4. Let's back that up a little bit. About 2. About 3. Okay. I'm happy with that. Okay. Okay, cool. So those dips I made in the sample are gonna create some room for our piano here, right? To kind of be at the forefront. Alright, and that's pretty much it. Slap on the tags, okay? So here we can go to, I already have these mixer states pre-saved. Okay, and then we can just lay these out somewhere.
This is another hit Ron production. This is another hit Ron production.
Instrument bus. Okay, from here we can take all of our
This
so what I want to do is take sure I want to take this. I want to take this. I guess we can take this as well. Let's route them here. Okay, so now we can see all of these sounds when they're playing. And then if we want to do something like apply reverb, okay, so which is why I didn't take this, okay. But we don't want to apply reverb to that. But everything else could. Okay, we can kind of create something that's a bit more contained. Alright, so with reverb, a lot of times people just throw it on, they'll do something like this or whatever, right? And then they're out. They go, it sounds good, they're out. Big mistake, okay? And the reason why it's a mistake is when you do that, what you don't understand is, right? If I take out this dry signal, you just hear the wet signal. If you listen, the reverb is sweeping across all of the frequencies, like even the lower frequencies, right? You can hear that. So don't forget to come over here and clean up. What was I saying earlier about high pass and low pass? There are other terms for it, low cut and high cut. When it's low cut, it's high pass. So using high pass, right? We can go and clean the reverb from occupying those lower frequencies. See how much better that sounds? Your bass sounds good again. Okay. Let's bring this to about 4K. So between 1K and 4K, reverb is being applied and nowhere else. Okay? Nowhere else. So we're good. Now, as far as this, I like to kind of drag it. I use my bass. And when it seems like it just blends in with the bass a little bit, about 70%, I'll bring in the dry signal. Okay. And voila. Alright. Now, I'm going to take our subgroups, bass, because we left it by itself. Anything else that we didn't have into a group, we're going to route them to one more subgroup. Okay? You have to do this part, no, but we're going to call this our mix bus, our final mix bus, whatever you recognize it as, and I'm going to put it here at the front. So when I'm looking at this track, I can see my mix. I can see how loud my mix is. If I want to apply EQ and maybe bring out the low end a little more or something like that, I can do that, right? But this is going to apply to the whole of the track. Maybe you have vocals. Someone's going to come and rap over this or whatever. You can have the beat separate from the vocals. Okay? You can call this the beat track. And you can have your whole beat here separated from the vocals. After they record, you can come here to your beat and go, okay, I boosted the vocals at 300 and over at 1.5K. So in the beat, to ensure that the vocals sit on top of the beat, I need to make dips in 300, and I need to make dips in the 1.5K. And now the vocals can be heard more across the beat, right? And once you have all this, then you can use your master track for mastering, right? So you have your beat, you have your vocals, you can make one more route the beat and the vocals into that subgroup. That can be your mix, and then you can save the master track for when it's actually time to master. But again, do you have to do that? No, but it helps a lot. It helps. Okay. So despite the things you may want to do to that, we don't have anyone rapping over this stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use a tool that kind of handles this stuff in a variety of ways. It's really simple to use. All right. It's called Schoeps Parallel Particles. We're going to use this, and this controls the low end, this controls the high end, and these are compressors for the low end, for the high end. Okay. So we're going to make sure our signal is in good range. Basically, this isn't lighting up red. We'll unlink this, we'll make our changes, and then if we're past our volume before processing, we'll move it down. If somehow we're under, we'll move it up. Make sure we put the volume back where we had it. Got this thing about where I want it. Well, actually, moving too fast here, too fast. Now that we have all of this, together, if we need to make any adjustments, now would be the time to move your faders. Okay, so in the beginning, no fader movement. We just worked with our gain, right? We gain stage, we got everything proper, and we were in our target area. We mixed. We can check our mix. Our mix is within our target area. Okay. Now, if we want to make any adjustments, like that synth sound, sounded kind of loud and annoying to me. Now let's make some moves. move it down by 1 dB at a time. For every 1 dB you move the fader down or up, it accounts for 3 decibels in perceived volume. So if you move it up 1 decibel, then it gets louder. You perceive it to be 3 decibels louder, right? So move it decibel by decibel. Listen. How do you feel? Does it feel like it's blending in with the rest of everything? If not, it's still too loud. Move it again, down another decibel, right? So you find the point where it blends in. Okay. And then let's replace this limiter with this limiter. Alright. So I'm going to set my ceiling to -1, and I'm using a true peak. I was at -10. Alright. And now, I've been listening to this for quite a while, so this may not be perfect, but we can always listen to this tomorrow with fresh ears, and any little slight adjustments that we need to make, we can definitely do. Last thing we can do really is like panning, maybe some widening, putting things in the like mono stereo, right? Some do mix in mono. I mean, we can check it, but the work I be doing still sounds dope, don't it? Yeah, okay. So even when I go and put this in the mono, so you're only hearing it right here in the center, okay? You can still hear every element of this track, and nothing sounds like it's conflicting. That's work right there, okay? Blindfolded. Alright. So, I think I can give you with panning, okay, is to understand that energy flows from your left, in from your left, out through your right, okay? Might be like, kind of reminds you of a lot of EQs, right? 20 starts on the left and then it goes up higher to the right, right? But the cool thing is, you may not have noticed, if you take your right hand, put it over your right ear and you speak, lower frequencies are more pronounced in your left ear than higher frequencies. And if you do the same to your left ear, cover and you speak, higher frequencies are more pronounced in your right ear, and the bass frequencies are just kind of dull. It's just the way it works, okay? So between our right and left ears, we can hear spectrum, Okay, so when you're deciding on where you want to pan something, start thinking about frequencies, right? These higher frequency sounds, right? Because if so, then you know the right ear will pick it up better. Pan it to the right some, right? And if it's more on the lower frequencies, pan it to the left because you know that the left ear will pick it up, right? Now for like kick, like bass, it's not very melodic, so we just kind of mono those. We just put it in the center, okay? But everything else we kind of move around. Snare, we keep that in the center too. Vocals, you want to keep that in the center too, and then everything else you just kind of move around. So let's take our hat here, for example. If you were to go and search this, right, and be like, where do I pan my clothes hat? It's going to tell you like 10 to 15% to the right. Oh yeah? Why to the right? Well, they might go, whoa, the drum set, right, and and it's on the left, and then from the audience facing the drummer, then it's gonna appear on the right. But you gotta really think about this and be like, there's some genius going on for someone to realize to put it on the left so the listener hears it on the right, because the right ear picks it up better. Okay? Some things you may not be aware of, they work a certain way because some people are just badasses. That's how it works, okay? So, I'm gonna pan to the right here. So what we're doing now is everything has been playing in the center of the speaker. What we want to do now is, again, picture that sound stage. Now we want to start moving things to the left and to the right, okay? Further creating space. So, your open hat, your closed hat are basically the same hats, okay? So, if we're going to pan to the right for that, we're going to pan to the right for this as well, okay? Crash cymbal, usually it's gonna go the same way, but I move it just a little bit further. If you want, you can switch, right? I guess there's no real definite on that, but again, it's kind of taking that into account. Frequencies where it's gonna be picked up easier. Surefire guess is just take it to the right, take it to the right, okay? Basically taking it to mono, but by not completely putting it into mono, you kind of put like most of the low end of it in mono, and then we leave the rest of it basically in stereo. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing with the snare here. Same thing with this, even though there's not really some low end stuff. Okay, guess you could just apply it to here, but I don't know about that. So I just do it this way. That's how we're gonna do it. I guess it could save some time, right? I'm going to leave this center. Higher frequency, I'm going to move this over to the right about maybe 30, 25, 30. Piano sounds more lower, okay, compared to this one. Even though both are playing at different times, they never actually play together. Okay, I want to move this to the left, because we already have this in the center. Vocals will be in the center. The bass will be in the center. The kick and snare are gonna be in the center. You don't want us to have too much stuff in the center, so anything that's not like the main focus, move it from the center. Now that we kind of spaced everything out, wait the bass. Alright. Now let's use this bad boy. Doing a little because the mix is already, it's nice, okay? I'm just trying to put this together a little bit more. So as soon as I hear like a slight change, I'm like, okay, alright, cool. So again, we're between -3, -6. So we could leave it like that, that's fine. Boom. Alright. Congratulations. Alright, for our limiter, we don't want to do it too much. Once it goes over like a dB or two, done. Okay, we're not trying to do too much there. And so at least for our mix, it has been mixed well. It's got a limiter on it to make it loud enough where you can put this out for others to listen to, right? And it doesn't have to sound low because we take this off. Of course, now it sounds lower, okay? So you can hear this loudly now. And then whenever we're ready to master, we'll just remove that and we can start doing master stuff, okay? Yeah. But again, I'll definitely look into this or check it out tomorrow. Again, I know it's been probably like a couple hours, okay? I'm definitely winded. I'm definitely winded, okay? But I'll listen to it tomorrow through my speakers, you know, make any last final adjustments, and then I'll bounce this bad boy out. So yeah, definitely a struggle. We tried to build this beat yesterday. I wasn't feeling the best, at least, you know, my brain. I was just like, I don't know, maybe I should just go to sleep. I was like, nah, Friday, it's your day. That's your main day, man. You got it Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You said it. So I got on, tried to do something, but we didn't quite make it work. And today I finished it. Bam. And so today we also got to mix it down. So I've been listening to this for quite a while now. And so I'll take a break, maybe towards like tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening or something. Just get away from this thing for a while. Come back, listen, make sure everything is cool, balanced out. Probably won't listen to it very loud, just to make sure, you know, it's kind of even across the top, whatever. And then we'll bounce it out and it'll be good to go. And we can add it to the rest of this stuff. So I think this actually makes number 11. So yeah, we've been doing these video game flips, man, and we might low-key be good at it, okay? Again, this is going to be my second community project. You guys will be able to use these for your streams, for the content you put out on social media. We already talked about, the music industry and all that stuff, and the DJ program that's coming out on Twitch. Y'all are going to have to start paying to use that music, or you're not going to use music at all. Okay? They've already signed an agreement or a deal with the major players in the music industry, right? You've seen the names: Universal Music Group, Warner Music, etc., Sony Music. And so you're gonna have to buy or opt into this program. They're targeting DJs, but if you want to be able to stream on Twitch and play copyrighted music, well, I guess you're gonna be paying the licensing fee. I don't know what the subsidy thing is, but they did say they'll be doing that for a certain period of time. So definitely this year, I think they're gonna cover most of it, and then as time goes, they're gonna slowly back off of it until you're paying the full cost for it, right? So trying to give DJs a chance, this, that, and the other, if they're interested. But again, for somebody who doesn't DJ, if you still want to play that copyrighted music, you're either gonna have to opt in, or you're gonna have to find something else. And so I'm trying to be that something else. I know there are other options. I just want to do my part, okay? With that being said, let me get out of here. I swear I played this one out. I swear I played it out. Alright, just
This is another
let me do it. Oh, actually, yeah, let's do that. We haven't had lyrics in a while. Alright, I'm getting out of here. Appreciate all of you for stopping by. We did it again. Appreciate the new follows. Again, if you guys got any questions, if you guys got music you want me to hear, definitely feel free to hit me up. If you're on Discord, Sigma the Majestic. If you are on Twitter, go ahead and follow me there. Sorry I'm not on IG and TikTok and all that anymore, but that's where I'm at. You won't get like that, but you can follow me there. You can ask questions. Discord, I don't mind doing screen shares. If you guys, got questions or want to know how to do stuff. And again, if I'm ever on stream, you got something you want me to listen to, definitely pull up and let me know. Okay, you can link me. I'll figure out. I'm pretty sure it's the stream settings, but I'll get it to where you guys will be able to shoot links in here, okay, to your SoundCloud or whatever. Be happy to check it out. Yeah, let's go. All right. Yo, Blue, you have a great night as well. Well, yeah, I know it's getting probably like almost 5 now, right? 4. So, definitely appreciate you sticking around. Let me get out of here. Remember, stay patient, remain diligent, and as always, be majestic. Peace.
Punching the clock, my function is to make much and lay back munching. Sipping Remy on the rock, my crew, something to watch, nothing to stop. Unstoppable, scheme on the ice. I gotta hot your crew, I gotta let you players know the time like my bottle, my motto. Stack rocks like Colorado, up the champagne crystals by the bottle. It's a damn shame, but you're not though. Me, slick like a gato, JC. My pops knew exactly what he did when he made me try to get a nut, and he got a nut in what? Straight bananas, can a player see me? Got the USO receiving advantage jigger, served like Sampras, play fake rappers like a campus fatigue. Paul, you too eager, you ain't having it? Good, me either. Let's get together and make this whole world believe us, In my arraignment, screaming, all us blacks got is sports and entertainment. Until we even, thieving, as long as I'm breathing, can't knock the way you play it even.